Hey everyone, today I'm going to be showing you how to use the Tusk Clutch Alignment Tool. This is to set the center to center distance on your clutches. It also makes sure that the shafts are aligned, and that way you don't burn through belts. So you want to do this anytime you have your engine or transmission out, or if you're just servicing your clutches and you want to make sure the distance and alignment is correct so you don't burn through belts. Again, very important check to make. We're going to show you how to do that today on our 2021 Polaris RZR XP1000. This will be a similar process for the 2016 to 2023 RZR XP1000s, the Generals, and even some Ranger, Trail, and RZR S models. But whatever you have, you want to use the drop-down menu on our website to make sure you're getting the right tool for your machine. With all that said, let's go ahead and get started. To get this done, we have some common hand tools. So over here we've got 10, 15, 18, and 21 millimeter sockets, breaker bars, we've got torque wrenches, ratchet wrenches, extensions. I've got that 18 millimeter combo. We have some special tools right here in the middle. So this is the Tusk Clutch Alignment Tool. We obviously need that. We've got a clutch holding tool, clutch separator, and a puller. Now over here on the left, I've got a belt removal tool, pry bar, screwdriver, and my side cutters. As far as chemicals go, we are using a little bit of contact cleaner, some grease, Loctite. I do have an impact to help with the wheels, safety glasses, rubber gloves, rags, and in the back, I do have some hammers. They're not absolutely necessary, but there's a couple steps that they can help out with. Now, if you need to pick up any of the special tools for your machine, you can find that stuff on our website. Just click the link in the description below. To start out, I'm gonna crack the lug nuts loose, and then I'm gonna raise the machine off the ground with our lift. If you don't have that, you can use a jack and jack stands. Then we can remove the wheel. Next, remove the bolt for the lower shock mount and pull that out of the way. And from here we have a vent tube with one bolt holding this onto the side and then two clamps. We'll loosen that up and remove it from the cover. Then remove all of the screws from the cover. We're using our Tusk Flex Drive tool to get that done. Next, we need to remove the drive belt. So we're gonna use the clutch spreading tool on our driven clutch. Then we're gonna push down on the belt and walk that off the driven clutch. And then work it off from the front. And pay attention to the orientation of the belt. You want to reinstall this in the same way you took it off so you can pay attention to this riding. Some belts are going to have arrows on them. To remove the driven clutch, we are using our SLP clutch holding tool. Make sure that this hook does not go anywhere that needs a smooth surface. So with that in place, we're going to use our 15 millimeter socket, and this bolt kind of winds up. As soon as it winds up, then you can break it loose. Completely remove the bolt, and this clutch is actually stuck. It's probably rusted on the splines. So I'm going to thread that bolt back in a little bit and hit it with a hammer while I pull on the clutch, and that'll break it free. And sure enough, you can see some rust underneath here. Now for the drive clutch, this bolt's pretty tight and we need that clutch holding tool, and I'm using the 21 millimeter socket and a breaker bar. We'll break that free. And with that bolt out, we can use our clutch puller. Make sure you have a little bit of grease on the tip as well as on the threads. Now we're gonna use that clutch holding tool again. And as we thread this in, it's gonna get tight. We'll get it as tight as we can with our ratchet. And then I'm gonna use a breaker bar, and it's gonna make a loud pop when it breaks free, but we need to pull on that. There we go, it's popped off. That's totally normal. Then we can go ahead and remove the clutch. Next, we're gonna take a rag and wipe down the crankshaft and the transmission shaft. And if you're just doing clutch maintenance, you can go ahead and slide the tool into place. Just make sure the forward mark is facing the front of the machine, because that side is tapered and the writing will be facing the outside of the machine or towards you. And if it fits right on, you're good to go. If it doesn't, you need to make adjustments and remove that inner clutch cover. For everyone else, if you did an engine rebuild or transmission, this cover should already be off. So we're gonna go ahead and remove that, get it out of the way so we can show you how to make adjustments if that's what you have to do. Now with that cover off, I just want to show you guys why this tool works so good. And it really is just a pass or fail test. So the front hole on this, it does have the taper. It matches the taper on the crankshaft, and that's going to hold everything square. So if you slide this onto the transmission shaft, get that started, and if it goes right down the taper just like that, everything's squared up. You know, not only is your center to center distance correct, but the transmission shaft and the crankshaft, they are parallel and everything's in alignment. Again, that's going to give you the most life on your belt. Now, Polaris does have a center to center distance tool, and that is the most important measurement, but it does not check for the alignment to make sure those shafts are parallel. You can see how thin this is. So again, this is a much better option, and this is super affordable. So with us already being in alignment, we're still going to show you how to get these aligned. So we need to loosen up these 2 bolts, and we've got 4 bolts on the other side we need to loosen up as well. So if you're out of alignment, that's what you got to do. So these are the 4 bolts on the other side we need to loosen up. I'm going to move these coolant lines out of the way so you can see them. And you can see with this bracket, everything's slotted so you can get the correct alignment. So right here you can see if the shafts are not lined up or the correct distance, this is what the tool is going to look like. It's going to go on that transmission shaft and the crankshaft is just not going to align with it. Okay, now to get these lined up, I'm just showing you guys real quick. That's as far as this tool sits on the front, and that's exactly what we're looking for. So there is maybe a millimeter of overlap. You can just barely feel the edge of the tool when it's fully sitting on there. So if we set this back in place, we've got the crankshaft started just a little bit, and what we're gonna do, I've got a rag over the frame. Now I just need to work the transmission and move it until everything lines up. You may have to move the other side as well. So we're pretty dang close right here, but just to make sure this is all the way on, I'm just gonna give it a couple light taps with my dead blow hammer. You don't wanna go too crazy with that, otherwise this is gonna get stuck, but that's looking real good. We have that same very slight lip at the end of the tool. So we know that the center to center distance is correct and both shafts are in alignment. Now to tighten the bolts, we're going to start on the left side of the transmission. And these 2 bolts are getting torqued to 64 foot-pounds. Now to tighten this bracket down on the other side, I've got quite a bit of play in here. So I'm gonna not get these tight yet, just gonna take some of the play out of these bolts. And then we do have a tightening sequence, so we're gonna start at the very bottom back bolt. So we're gonna torque that to 5 foot-pounds. Then moving up, we're gonna torque the bottom side bolt next, and all of these are gonna be torqued to 44 foot-pounds from here. So that's number 2 in the sequence. Right here we have number 3. And this top back bolt is number 4 in the sequence. And then we'll go back to number 1. So now that we have all the bolts tightened down, we can remove the alignment bar. Now we did tap this on, so it might be a little stuck. I'm just gonna use the dead blow mallet and pop that loose. So even though we popped this loose, now we wanna verify that nothing moved while we tightened everything down. So I'm just gonna slide this back on, and you're making sure that this sits exactly how it did before. So as long as this sits all the way down, then you know you did the alignment right, and you're good to go. But if for some reason, if it doesn't go on, you're gonna need to loosen everything back up and repeat those steps. From here, we wanna clean up that inner cover, get any loose dirt off of it. And then as you reinstall this, make sure you pay attention to the routing of your wires and get those back on top of the cover in between where they're supposed to go. Then for the hardware, we're applying some blue Loctite or some low strength thread lock on here, and we'll get all of those bolts started up, make sure the cover is centered. And then we're gonna torque all of those down to 12 foot-pounds. And the only reason we're torquing these bolts here is they're right next to those spinning clutches. We don't want those coming loose and getting caught in those rotating parts. Now with the cover on, we're gonna make sure this taper on the crankshaft is completely clean, that there's no grease on there, so I'm using a little contact cleaner on a rag to wipe it down. Next, you wanna reinstall your vent tubes. And we've got this temp sensor that we're routing up as well. And after that, we can install the primary clutch. I'm gonna make sure that taper is clean inside of here as well. We'll set that on, install the bolt. I'm gonna use the clutch holding tool and get this torqued to 96 foot-pounds. Now for the secondary clutch or driven clutch, I am gonna apply just a little bit of grease on these splines. You just want a super thin film. You don't want it to get smeared everywhere. You can wipe off any extra. We'll slide that into place, make sure that the clutch is lined up with those splines. You'll be able to see the shaft all the way at the end of the clutch. Install the bolt, and then we're gonna torque that to 55 foot-pounds. Now at this point, you wanna reinstall your belt. We're actually gonna install a new one, but if you are reusing the old belt, make sure, again, look at the writing and install it the same way it came off. We're using that clutch separating tool. Then we're just gonna walk the belt into place. And once the belt is on, you want to rotate that driven clutch a few times and make sure the belt comes all the way to the top. Otherwise, it's going to be like starting in high gear and you can burn your belt. Next, reinstall the belt cover. As well as the last breather tube. Then I'll set the shock back into place. Install the bolt and nut. And I'm gonna torque the hardware to 70 foot-pounds. Now we can reinstall our wheel. We're gonna lower the machine. And the spec on the lug nuts is 120 foot-pounds. So that's how you use the Tusk Clutch Alignment Tool. Again, this is a very important check to make, and it's gonna help extend or get the most life out of your belt. So if you need one of these tools, they're available on our website. Just click the link in the description below. Leave us a comment if you have any questions, and subscribe to our channel for more helpful content. We have a lot of videos on these machines, so go check them out. I'm Charles with Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Thanks for watching.